So I just got back from Salt Lake, from SoCal Swordfight. This was the biggest HEMA event I have ever gone to, and my AC unit just turned on, so 1 second, I'm gonna turn it off. Okay, it should stop any minute now. So I just got back to Salt Lake City from SoCal. It was like a little, like maybe 40 minutes east of Los Angeles, location-wise. I feel like I want to keep my camera down. I just have to prove I have a shirt on, guys. I feel like it looks like I don't. YouTube, please don't hate me. As you can see, I'm still working through the pile of laundry. Oh good, that bug's on the other side of my window. So this was the biggest HEMA event I've ever gone to. I had an amazing time. I met some amazing people. I tried to vlog and I failed. And I realized something. So I had this problem at Combat Con too, right? Where I couldn't get. So normally, if you guys have been here before, hi again. If you haven't, welcome. I keep spinning because this is at a slope in my whole apartment. So I keep spinning. I realized the problem with HEMA events. I am too busy to film often at HEMA events. And the terrible part about that is I want to vlog them and I want to show the experience to the best of my ability. But it's really hard to, because when I'm in a tournament, there's no guarantee I can have somebody there filming with me all the time. I don't always have people with me. I often do, but they are clubmates who are also busy and doing their own stuff. Lots of my club members direct tournaments, they judge tournaments, they just volunteer in general. So there's not really always a way to get sequential video. Like, I'm on my way, I'm here, I'm unpacking, I'm getting ready, I'm doing whatever. In reality, I get there, I'm anxious because my tournament, I'm just in my head for like the whole morning, and the tournament happens. I kind of get some tournament footage, dies halfway through. I get some footage of my friends' tournaments because I'm available. I go to a class, I'm not filming the class because it's a class somebody's teaching. Maybe I could stand up my camera in the room, but I didn't ask in advance, and maybe I got to the class 5 minutes late because I was putting on gear. You probably see the problem here. It's really difficult to get HEMA tournament content. So I have some random clips and some random photos and some random everything. And I'm just going to tell you a story start to finish and do that style vlog, which is not my typical style, but we're gonna try it today and see how it works out, and I really hope you guys enjoy it. Starting off, this was actually my first big road trip, like, ever. I've never, okay, so I actually wanted to drive to Level Up Expo next month from Utah, and it's like a 5-hour drive, so this was like a really good prep for that. But from our location in California to home, it was almost a 10-hour drive, like with the gas stops and all that stuff. It was a very long drive, guys. Okay, now why am I throwing this in to a vlog about a HEMA tournament? It will be relevant later, okay? This information is very important later. I've never done a road trip. This was my first time. I was fine the entire drive. I've never been car sick, okay? It was actually really fun. We did a great time in the car. We listened to Dungeon Crawler Carl. I don't know if you guys have listened to that book, but it is hilarious and geeky, and it is like, I don't know what the author was doing to be that level of creative. I started to feel very nauseous in the last hour of driving, and I was like, oh my god. And then we have the banquet on Thursday. I made a dress for this banquet. It looks like this. It's very pretty. I need to get better photos of it. And the banquet was amazing. I met many cool people. Actually, making the dress was a really good idea too, because I kind of crunched it out the Thursday night before we left. The Wednesday night before we left, because I was like, I just wanted a new dress to wear, you know? And it was a really good conversation starter, because somebody would be like, I like your dress, and I'd be like, I made it, and then we have a conversation. This is a very big HEMA tournament, several tournaments, HEMA event. So there was people from all over the US there. And we also saw clubs that we often see that visit us here in Utah. That was pretty cool. But we were pretty tired after the road trip, so we didn't stay there too long. We stayed there maybe a couple hours, and we stopped by Aldi, and that was amazing. If you guys don't know, I grew up in New York, and I loved Aldi. We would do like so much shopping there. In college, I did like all my shopping there. There's no Aldis in Utah. I don't know why. I feel like it would do really well out here, but for some reason there are no Aldis in Utah, okay? And it was amazing. It was a trip down memory lane, except I was nauseous. I was still very nauseous at this point, okay? I barely bought enough food and stuff, and I just did not do very well, okay? So I barely ate that day. And besides like half a cheeseburger at that one restaurant, and then I was also kind of dehydrated because I didn't want to have to take lots of stops on the way. So then, you know, I take an Advil, go to bed, like, hope that I wake up feeling refreshed. I woke up feeling like I was hungover. It also didn't help that time a month decided to visit me starting on the day of my tournament. So it started off really, really, really rocky, but clearly just personal circumstances. Obviously, SoCal has no control over when that stuff happens. I go into my tournament, and I was really grateful because, well, I'm not at my tournament at this point, okay? My tournament was at like noon, or at least check-in was. I participated in the URG tournament, which is underrepresented groups. So that's like women, non-binary folks, underrepresented groups. And it had a really good turnout. I met a lot of really, really fun, awesome women too. My pools went super well. I won about half of them. My pools went pretty well, but beforehand there was a little bit of chaos because, like, obviously I hadn't eaten a ton. I definitely felt a little dizzy, and I was like just psyching myself out quite a bit. Like, I get psyched out very easy, and it was really cool because in Utah I'm in one of the clubs we have here, and we have like sister clubs, right, where like we don't really practice with them, we don't really know them too well, but we all kind of travel together when we go to these events. And it was really wholesome because a coach from one of our sisters clubs, he actually stepped up and like he cornered for me. And the role of a corner in like a HEMA tournament is basically might help with water, you might help with like tying something that comes untied, like if the shoulder piece comes untied or something on the jacket. You might give tips and advice. Different people prefer different levels of cornering. I definitely like to get a little advice because I'm still fairly new to the sport. I don't have a ton of experience, and this was a very big event. This was like, for comparison, there was like at least 8 rings. At like Salt Lake Open, we had like 2 or 3 rings, which is crazy. Like the different, like it was huge. This was the largest team event I've seen. Even at Combat Con was not that size. I think Combat Con had like 4 rings. Like, SoCal Swordfight was massive, and I was super intimidated and getting really psyched out. And this corner I had was just phenomenal. He is so cool. I was like super grateful for him stepping in because like he would say kind of just the right things, you know, like if I kept going for a deep target, which is someone's head, which is 3 points, versus like hands are 1 point, he would kind of remind me like, and I would get hit, right? So I wouldn't get any points because I was going too hard for the head. He'd be like, hey, reminder, like hands are valid targets, you know? And that kind of stuff really helped me. And knowing that somebody was there with me, like, it really helped me calm down and feel less in my own head and psyched out. I am really glad though, like it was kind of like a little communication network amongst coaches and stuff that was like, hey, please get somebody corner for her. And I was really grateful for that. And I think that also goes to show like there's such a good community in HEMA, you know, like a coach from a different club stepping in to go and help me basically not be psyched out and like hold my water bottle, and it was so kind. It was so nice, and it really helped me so much. I think if you do HEMA and you're someone who's very anxious, you should absolutely make sure that you have a corner. In a situation where something feels unfair to you, or if it feels like a director made a call that like was really, really severely like I don't know, if somebody did something they shouldn't have. If there's any conflict, I think it's best that the corners resolve it rather than the fencers, because then you get emotional charges and all that stuff going, which gets kind of dangerous and not very fun for anyone. So that made it so much easier for me, and I did pretty well in my tournaments, in my opinion. It was the best I've done to this day. I just doubled too many times. My score would have been so much better overall if I hadn't doubled a total of like several times, basically. I got a lot of points though. The only two which I lost 5-7 and 6-7. So I lost by a tiny margin on half my matches, and I was honestly really proud of that, and I won half of them. So I gave them a run for their money. And I also, the people I was competing against were really cool people. I saw one the next day and it was really cool. We had a whole conversation, and she was such an amazing fencer. I could not figure her out. It was really tricky too, but I did it, and I felt really proud of myself, because something that I've been working on personally is just getting in there, if that makes sense. Like just really like pushing a sword out of the way and like planting a thrust, those kinds of things. I'm not a very aggressive person inherently. I'm very timid is a good way to put it. And HEMA has really helped me with my timidness, I guess. And it's manifested at that in like more ways than one in my life too. It goes beyond HEMA. Like also when I'm at work, I feel because of HEMA, I've had a lot more confidence sticking up for like, oh no, I did this thing and this is why. You know what I mean? Like it's helped me in so many ways. And like my last match, I started to get a little psyched out because the girl I was against, she got me pretty hard in the arm, which is fine. It's HEMA, it happens. But also, I don't have like hard protection there. So she was really good at guarding her head, like exceptionally good at guarding her head. And I was like, there's no way I'm getting in there. And I just hand tapped it out, and I was really proud of myself. And one of the other people that really challenged me, the one that I lost 6-7 to, the coach in my corner was like, you need to take their center. And when he said you need to take their center, everything fell into place for me. I was already kind of deep down the points rabbit hole at that point, but when he said that to me, I instantly, like, I just kept planting like thrusts on them, and I was really proud of myself. So I think I do have to practice the doubling thing though, because I did double quite a bit. I didn't double out. One of them though, I almost doubled 2 times on, or no, I almost doubled 3 times on. If you double 3 times, you build just zero, just gone. You don't win anything. Like you don't get your points. So I got very close to doubling 3 times in one of them, and I didn't, and I was really proud of that. So that's kind of how like my actual tournament portion went. Like I said, I could have done better. I could have doubled less, but I can train that and work on that. But as far as everything else went, I was really proud of myself. After the tournament, I was exhausted, like absolutely exhausted. And like I said, I kind of did a terrible job setting myself up snack-wise and stuff like that. But my team was so prepared. They brought a cooler. There was applesauce in there. I survived. And the end. Just kidding. There was a whole nother 2 days because URG Longsword was on Friday. So I shopped around a little. I actually didn't find swords that I liked on... Actually, no, I did. I lied. I found a couple swords I liked on day 1. But one of the 2 swords, they weren't actually selling. They just kind of had out. And I was like, oh, okay. Because I really wanted to buy a rapier, and I found everything but a rapier, which made me pretty sad because I really want to get into rapier. But I kind of wanted a rapier that was like both lightweight and quality, and the person on my team who's like really, really great with rapiers was talking to me about it and was like, not that one. So maybe another time. But I did buy on Friday, I purchased a small sword. Here it is. It has a tip on it. It is very, very pretty, and it is ambidextrous. If you guys don't know, I'm left-handed, which basically means I'm ambidextrous because lefties suffer in this world. It's brutal. And I really want something ambidextrous for just random who knows, and I really like this a lot because it doesn't have a knuckle bow and it's really light. It's like it feels like I'm holding nothing. Like if I just drop it, like holding it like in my finger, like it's super light. Like I could hold it with just two of these fingers. Like it's crazy. It's super light, and I was really happy with that. I don't know actually where, like, who I got that from. I'm hoping somebody else will know. But their booth said something about like stunt stuff and props and all of that, and it's really good quality. I really love it a lot. I did put it to a little bit of test sparring and I really liked it. So that was really cool. I really like having so many vendors there. I didn't fall in love with anything else on the first day because the rapier situation. Don't think I did any Friday classes because by the time I was done with my tournament, it was about like 3, and then I watched my friend's tournament and I filmed it, and she's really cool. I'm really proud of her for doing that. And then I think more friends had tournaments. Honestly, the rest of Friday is such a blur because I was like so out of it. Like I said, I felt like I was slightly hungover the whole day, and it was that time of month, so I was not feeling good on Friday. I had not taken care of myself whatsoever. I thought a guy in my group was 16, and he's actually much older than me. Which was really funny, and that was a running joke over the weekend. Then came Saturday, and Saturday was also a pretty good day. We all had breakfast underneath one of the orange trees outside, and it was California is so pretty in the morning, at least like that area. I know California is a huge state, so maybe not that general, but the area we were in, it was so beautiful in the morning. Like it was so nice and humid too. I'm so used to the Utah, like, dry air. It felt really nice to be there. The coffee situation is kind of dire, guys. It was kind of rough, okay? Because there was, like, no coffee places to stop on the way to the conference center. But then the Airbnb had, like, Keurig cups, a very cheap Keurig coffee, which was really rough. If you guys know me, I'm really into my coffee, and that was upsetting. Next time I need to bring like an espresso maker. I couldn't find any coffee shops within walking distance of the conference center either, so I perished. No, I'm kidding. I got used to it. So for Saturday, I did a couple classes, a few classes actually. So I did a class on how to fence lefties, because I am a lefty, and that means if it's a class on how to fence lefties, it means for me it would work on how to fence righties. So I did that I did that class. It was super cool. I also supported one of my friends in the cutting tournament. I think she came in 11th. I cheered her on, took videos of her cutting. I'll show you guys because she was like super cool. She's really cool. And this was actually her first cutting tournament ever, and she did amazing. It honestly inspired me. I feel like I should get into cutting, but I don't really know where I would practice or when, so it's got kind of a point for me to entry that I just am not up to right now. I do want to get into small swords sometime. I feel like that would be pretty fun. Same with rapier, but I haven't been able to find a rapier. I went to that class on the lefty fencing, and then I took a little break. They had food trucks there, and with a team from Montana and a group from Ohio, I actually had, I think, Mexican food, and it was really nice. The quesadilla was like sweet. It was like really, really, really good. And then I went to a class on Shilhao with Miro, I forgot his last name. He won first in open longsword. Like, this guy is like really good. And he was also a phenomenal teacher, very, very direct and to the point. And to the point. Haha, pun. No, I'm kidding. And I really, really enjoyed that class. Like, I really felt like I learned a lot about Shilhao. And like, I've learned it before, but I felt like I could do it better than previously. Then I went over to the sparring area and I tried to pull it on a few people, and I did, and that was so fun. Some other people from the class were also there, so I assumed that they were also pulling that on people. So that was really cool. The exercise class with Rochelle was also amazing. Similar to my current workout routine, because I do a lot of Pilates and resistance, and a lot of it was very resistance-esque or very Pilates-esque, in my opinion, the type that I do. So it was kind of a cool like validation that I'm already kind of doing the right exercise. I guess I actually did more classes than I thought I did, so I'm pretty proud of myself. I might actually have this out of order. This may have happened Friday night, but there was the experimental swords tournament. I didn't take place in this, but there were side swords were the weapon of choice. 2 side swords per person. It was kind of chaos. I did witness someone Naruto run into somebody else with 2 side swords. I can say I've witnessed that now. That was an interesting thing to witness, not gonna lie. There was a little bit of horseplay going on. There was a lot of tornadoing going on with side swords. It was very interesting. I think very few people seemed to know what was going on with it. I didn't know what was going on with them. I haven't read any sources about side sword. I just read this all the time. Like, I've read it, like, I'm almost through my first read. This isn't a bookmark, this is a note, but it was kind of crazy. I haven't picked what small sword text I want to get into, but I'm really excited to pick one. So something that happened that was really, really sad was one of my team members got waffled, because these things are kind of hard, and it's sometimes a mask fitting poorly issue too. But this guy's been fencing for years and has been in so many tournaments. So he got waffled. If you don't know what being waffled is, it's so the mask that you fence in, it has like a grid, and when you get waffled, the sword pushes the mask in to your face, and it creates a waffle-like structure of gore on your face, and it's pretty messed up. He was not he said he was fine. He was fine. He was bleeding for quite some time. Like, it was kind of sad. Like, I felt bad for him. I'm glad he's fine. You know, like, reminder, guys, there's nothing wrong with a scar or two. It's usually every single guy in a romance novel usually has a scar or two. His wife is probably, you know, thinking, wow, I didn't think my husband could get any more attractive, and yet he did. So battle wounds aren't the end of the world, but it is sad that there was enough force and intensity being used where that happened. I don't think that there should be cases often or ever really where somebody is using so much force that it pushes in a mask. Sometimes it does happen though, like there are risks with swinging 3 pounds of steel at someone else, and that's one of them. You know, it could happen to anyone. So that did happen to one of my friends, and that made me pretty sad. I don't know if that was that night or Friday night, but anyways, going on Saturday night, there was the antique show. We waited maybe 30 minutes to get into the antique show. It took so long to get in. Once we were in, we only looked around like a third of it, and it was like we had been there for like an hour already at this point. Hour and a half with the line. Like, it was 7 p.m. when we got there. It was 9, 10-ish when we got out. But they had some really cool stuff, like cool antique sword pieces and all. And they also had original Italian sources, which was really cool. I want to study more Italian style sword, like the Fiore type, but I don't know why I haven't. Maybe I just should. I should. It sounds fun. And that was really cool to witness. I felt what a training bayonet felt like. We got pushed into with one. It was very fun. I saw a Jian, which was really cool. They're like a flat sword from China. It was cool. There was some really cool stuff there, and we got to listen to a lot of history and bits and pieces on B's weapons, which was super cool. But it did go very long. And we also got to see the original Thibaut drawings. I don't know what they're called, plates, something like that. And I have learned a little bit of Thibaut because somebody in my club, she really loves Thibaut. And Thibaut did like rapier stuff, right? And it was just really fun. It was really cool. I'm so glad I got to see them in person. I have photos. I was looking actually at their clothing a lot, and I don't know, there's just so much to see in each one of those. Like, you could definitely spend 10 minutes looking at each of those, but it was also at this point 9:30 and we were all tired. We'd all done classes, we'd all sparred, and we went back, and we actually got Mexican food again. I had Mexican food twice in a day. I love Mexican food. And all of us went to this little hole-in-the-wall Mexican food restaurant, and they were the kindest people ever, because there was like 20 of us total. Then came the final day, Sunday. This was very difficult to get out of bed this day. I was exhausted, but in the morning I actually had wanted to do a class, but we got there too late to do a class. Like, we got there at like 10:30, I think, because we just decided to take our time. And I bought, so there was a new vendor there that had been there that was, why am I forgetting their name? I'll put it on the video when I remember who it was. But they had a sword with a butterfly shield that had pink wrap. And I was like, I need this. And they were like, the guy with the swords will be here later in 2 hours with more of those. So I told my coach, one of my coaches, and he texts the guy and is like, I have a student that wants that. So I got one of those, and that was so cool. So now I have this sword with a butterfly shield. It is in the other room right now, and I don't want to grab it because I'm honestly kind of tired and sick of talking at this point. And I ran out of water, so my voice is probably creaky. I love that sword. I did not know that existed. The shield, if you're unfamiliar, is the little part of the sword. I mean, the photos probably show it, but it's a little part of the sword that like catches things up high, and it also protects your thumb. So like, we do something called thumb grip, where like you hold the sword and you put your thumb behind the shield and it protects your thumb. Pretty cool thing. Not all swords had that, but fetters, which are like German swords, had them, which was really cool. I still didn't find a rapier, which made me pretty sad, but I did walk away with a butterfly shield sword, which was pretty happy. And then I went to another class with Miro, which was about making plans when you go to fight. And I wrote down the entire drill because I want to bring it back to my club so we can study that way. And I feel like I learned a lot. I really liked the structure of the drill and like the idea of having a plan going into fencing, because I definitely just kind of go, all right, let's throw something out there and then go from there. So I think that was really cool. He also gave me some really cool just like advice on my general structure and stuff, like when I'm in a certain position, pushing down more, things like that. I'm not gonna over explain because I don't know people's level of fencing knowledge, but I got so much cool advice from him in that class, and I was really grateful for that, because part of the reason why I really love events like this is because I can go experience different styles of fencing, different mentorship, different teaching, different like a different point of view. Like, I feel like my fencing style in this one weekend changed so much, and like to see a different style that works better for me, or like to see what doesn't, and like just knowledge overload of things I could do. You know what I mean? That was really cool. That was really cool. So that class was amazing. I got so many notes. And then I watched the finals of cutting because we had a couple clubmates doing it. I also sparred a lot. Like, I went into the sparring room and I hung out there for like 2 hours. I also ate lunch with the Seattle club. There was a Thai Mexican fusion truck, which was amazing. I had spicy shrimp noodles. They were really, really good and really nice to eat in the middle of the day. And I had like a cucumber lime drink that was like super refreshing, and it hit the spot so well. And we all like sat in a circle in the shade for a while and just kind of like hung out and talked. And everyone's so kind. Like, I genuinely, like, even if I fence someone and I don't like how it feels to fence that person, I pretty much always actually like the person as a person outside of their fencing, if that makes sense. Like, the finals went really well. It was really cool to see like the really top people fighting and everything. It was also really inspiring, and it was cool to see their styles of fighting like in person. It was just like, I brought my snack. I got in my cozy clothing. I got my sweatpants, my sweater, and I just kind of cozied up and watched the finals. Then leaving, I felt really sad leaving. Like, really sad. Their HEMA has such a amazing community with amazing people. I have always had trouble finding sports that I like because I am somebody who's very people oriented, and I feel like I have to have a sense of community to feel comfortable doing something. And I felt such a strong sense of community, and like, I really feel a lot of love for the sport and the community, and like, it was just really cool, that like little pocket of the world for the weekend, you know? It was also really nice to go home and sleep in my own bed eventually. I was really tired. I was like super tired, guys. I was exhausted. But I wasn't emotionally exhausted. Actually, I felt like after this weekend, I felt very emotionally recharged and energetic mentally, if that makes sense. But I felt very exhausted physically. If you don't know, I'm a cosplayer and I go to a lot of conventions, and the sense of community in HEMA is kind of what I'd always hoped to find in cosplay. And I love cosplay so much, I really do, but it's such an individualistic hobby. Like, I haven't really found friends that consistently cosplay, and there's always, maybe I'm starting to. I do think I'm starting to. I don't want to hex that, because I have found some people I really like recently. But I have found some people recently who I just really click with and like more. But bonds take such a long time to build, and I think in HEMA, because you guys are in the same spaces so much, and there's like a scheduled time every week you practice your club and stuff, like, you build a very deep bond. And also there's a trust you have with people when you consistently swing 3 pounds at each other's head and you don't want to concuss each other. So you kind of bond with people really fast, and there's like a warmth mentally, emotionally, you know what I mean? My next big thing that I'm doing is Level Up Expo with the gaming and anime stuff, and I'm honestly feeling really recharged and excited for that. And I feel like in the past couple of years, like as a cosplayer, I ran into some people who were not very kind to me, or just like, I'd be at a competition and I'd try to make like friendly conversation, and somebody would just be kind of like I'd get that kind of weird like high school vibe, if that makes sense. And I kind of felt like not great. Like, I was kind of like, wow, do nice people no longer exist in the world? But they do, and a lot of them are in HEMA. Oh yes, a note I want to make: the finals. I forgot to go into this because I'm no expert. But I do think that the finals should have been earlier, because I took Monday off. I had enough PTO to take the Monday off of work, and we carpooled back to Utah. But I do think it would have been nice to get out earlier, because we got out at like 9:30, and we ordered a pizza and we drank cheap wine in the Airbnb, and it was super fun. But we had very limited time to kind of like celebrate the event after, if you know what I mean. And I remember at Combat Con, they did the finals on like Friday, or not Friday, Saturday, and there was like an after party, and Sunday was kind of a chill class day. But like, they also went for 4 days, which was different. I think it would be nice if SoCal had their finals earlier in the day, as hard as that might be, because I think it would be nice to have more time to celebrate with your friends, your family, or fly home. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people do have work on the Monday after. So that was like my one big critique at the end of finals, is I was like, the timing was really, because by the time we got back to the Airbnb, it was like 10:30, and we wanted to celebrate, but it was 10:30 and we had to leave at 6 in the morning the next day to get back to Utah. On the way home, it was fun though. Like, we stopped for ice cream and stuff. And it was a great time. But that was my one big criticism at the end of that. That was my experience with my first SoCal Swordfight. And I wanted to make it more of a typical vlog, but that just didn't really work. I was running around so much. It was hard to carry my tripod most of the time when I had a sword and a fencing mask in both hands. So this is my compromise. I took what footage I could, and I just told you about my experience instead. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you next week. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!